The single most important factor in how well our eyes handle bright light and see clearly in dim light isn't just the strength of our prescription glasses. It's the density of a protective shield deep inside the eye, a shield you can build and maintain with what's on your plate. For many of us over 60, the glare from oncoming headlights feels more intense than it used to, and reading a menu in a softly lit restaurant becomes a frustrating challenge. These aren't just minor annoyances. They are signals from our eyes about a specific nutritional need. Today, we are going to talk about two remarkable nutrients, lutein and zeaxanthin, and how they function as our body's own internal sunglasses. We'll cover exactly how they work, the simple foods that deliver them most effectively, and how to put this knowledge into practice, starting with your very next meal. This is not about miracle cures, but about the steady, powerful science of nutritional support for the precious gift of sight. Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Daniel Bennett, and my goal here is to provide clear, science-backed health guidance that empowers you to live well. If you believe in making informed choices for your health and appreciate a calm, no-nonsense approach, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to the channel. You'll be joining a wonderful community of people who are proactive about their well-being. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the comments below. Let's begin with the part of your eye that does the most detailed and important work, the macula. Picture the back of your eye like a movie screen. This is the retina. The macula is the small, central sweet spot on that screen, responsible for the sharp, straight-ahead vision you use for reading, recognizing faces, and driving. It allows you to see fine details and vibrant colors. As we age, this vital area can become vulnerable to damage, a process that can contribute to age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, a leading cause of vision loss in older adults. The reason the macula is so susceptible is because it's constantly bombarded by light, particularly high-energy blue light from the sun and our screens. This light, over a lifetime, can create what's called oxidative stress. Think of it like a slow, microscopic form of rusting on the delicate cells of the retina. To protect itself, the body has a brilliant defense system. It concentrates two specific nutrients, lutein and zeaxanthin, directly in the macula. These nutrients are a type of carotenoid, the same family of pigments that give carrots and bell peppers their color. When they are deposited in the macula, they form a layer called the macular pigment. And this is the simple mechanism I want you to remember. This pigment layer acts like a pair of internal sunglasses. It physically absorbs and filters out up to 90% of that harmful, high-energy blue light before it can ever reach and damage the sensitive photoreceptor cells beneath. A denser, thicker layer of this pigment provides more protection, just as darker sunglasses block more glare. Our bodies cannot produce these protective pigments on their own. We have to get them entirely from our diet, which is why what we eat becomes a direct investment in the long-term health of our central vision. This brings us to our first practical application, tackling the challenge of glare. One of the most common complaints I hear is about driving at night. A car approaches, its headlights seem to explode in your vision, and for several long, unsettling seconds after it passes, you're left with a blinding afterimage, struggling to see the road. This is a problem of slow glare recovery. Your eye's light-sensing cells, the photoreceptors, have been overwhelmed or bleached by the intense light, and they are taking too long to reset and start sending clear signals to your brain again. This isn't just frustrating, it can be a serious safety issue. The density of your macular pigment plays a direct role here. A thick, healthy layer of lutein and zeaxanthin acts as that first line of defense, absorbing a significant portion of the intense headlight glare before it even hits those photoreceptors. With less light getting through to bleach them, the cells are not as overwhelmed. They can recover and reset much more quickly. Studies have consistently shown that people with higher macular pigment density recover from bright light exposure faster. They can see more clearly, more quickly, after being exposed to a flash of bright light. So, how do we build up this protective pigment? One of the best and most easily absorbed sources is the humble egg yolk. For years, eggs got a bad rap, but we'll address that cholesterol concern directly in a moment. From an eye health perspective, the yolk is golden. It contains both lutein and zeaxanthin, but more importantly, it packages them with fats. This is critical. These nutrients are fat-soluble, meaning your body needs fat to absorb them properly from your digestive tract into your bloodstream. The natural fats in the egg yolk ensure that the lutein and zeaxanthin are highly bioavailable, a scientific term that simply means your body can easily grab and use them. A single large egg yolk contains around 200 to 300 micrograms of these pigments. While that might not sound like a huge number, their high bioavailability makes them incredibly efficient. Including an egg in your breakfast a few times a week, or even daily for most people, is a simple, effective step toward reinforcing that protective macular shield. This small habit directly supports your eye's ability to handle the bright lights of the modern world. If this kind of practical science is helpful for you, take a moment to tap the subscribe button so you don't miss our future discussions. Now, let's move from the problem of too much light to the challenge of not enough. Another common visual change we notice as we get older is a loss of contrast sensitivity. This is the ability to distinguish an object from its background. It's what allows you to see the subtle expressions on a loved one's face in a dimly lit room, to spot a black suitcase on a dark carpet, or to read light gray text on a white page. When contrast sensitivity declines, the world can start to look a bit washed out. Edges become less defined, and textures blend together, making everyday tasks more difficult and less enjoyable. This isn't a problem of focus, like nearsightedness or farsightedness, which glasses can correct. It's a problem of visual noise. Think of it like trying to listen to a quiet conversation in a noisy room. The macular pigment helps with this, too, but in a different way than just blocking light. Lutein and zeaxanthin also appear to reduce light scatter within the eye. Light that isn't absorbed properly can bounce around inside the eye, creating a kind of haze or static that degrades the quality of the image reaching the retina. By absorbing this scattered light and reducing that internal noise, a dense macular pigment sharpens the signal that your photoreceptor cells send to the brain. The result is a clearer, crisper image with better defined edges and more distinct shades of color and gray. Large-scale studies, like the Age-Related Eye Disease Studies, ARDS2, have suggested a strong link between higher intake of lutein and zeaxanthin and better visual function, including improved contrast sensitivity in older adults. To get a higher quantity of these pigments, we turn to dark, leafy greens. Spinach and kale are the undisputed champions here. A half cup of cooked spinach, for example, packs over 10,000 micrograms of lutein and zeaxanthin, many times more than an egg. Other excellent sources include collard greens, turnip greens, and even green peas and broccoli. The key, just like with eggs, is to remember they are fat-soluble. To unlock their full potential, you must eat them with a source of healthy fat. This is incredibly easy to do. Simply drizzle your steamed spinach with a little extra virgin olive oil. Sauté your kale with a bit of avocado oil. Add a handful of greens to a soup that contains some healthy fat. Without that fat, a large portion of these valuable nutrients will simply pass through your system without being absorbed. Combining these powerhouse greens with a healthy fat is the secret to delivering that pigment-building material to your eyes. Having explored the power of both eggs and greens, the next logical step is to combine them for maximum benefit. The most effective strategy is to not choose between eggs and greens, but to embrace the synergy between them. Think of it this way. Egg yolks provide a smaller amount of lutein and zeaxanthin in a superabsorbable package, while leafy greens provide a massive quantity that needs a little help with absorption. When you eat them together, you get the best of both worlds. The fat from the egg yolk can even help your body absorb the pigments from the greens you eat in the same meal. Putting this into practice can be simple and delicious. Consider starting your day with what I call the eye health scramble. Sauté a large handful of fresh spinach in a little olive oil until it wilts, then scramble in 1 or 2 eggs. You've created a perfect, highly bioavailable meal to support your macula. Another great option is a large salad for lunch. Use a base of dark leafy greens and top it with a sliced hard-boiled egg and a vinaigrette made with extra virgin olive oil. The egg provides its own pigments, and both the egg yolk and the olive oil dressing help you absorb the massive dose of lutein and zeaxanthin from the greens. For those who enjoy smoothies, adding a cup of kale or spinach is an easy way to boost your intake. Just be sure to include a source of fat in the smoothie as well. A quarter of an avocado or a tablespoon of chia seeds works beautifully. And don't forget about less obvious sources. Green peas are a fantastic choice. A simple side of buttered peas with dinner is another step in the right direction. For budget-conscious shoppers, frozen spinach and frozen peas are just as nutritious as fresh, and they are incredibly convenient to keep on hand. The goal is consistency, making these pigment-rich foods a regular, enjoyable part of your diet. Now, we must address the elephant in the room, the long-standing fear around eggs and cholesterol. For decades, we were told to limit or avoid egg yolks to protect our hearts. This advice has now been significantly revised based on a better understanding of how the body actually works. It's time for a quick myth bust. The old belief was that eating cholesterol in food directly raised the cholesterol in our blood, leading to clogged arteries. While this seems logical, the science has shown that for the majority of the population, it's not that simple. The primary driver of high blood cholesterol levels, particularly the bad LDL cholesterol, is not dietary cholesterol, but rather the intake of saturated and trans fats. Your liver is the main control center for cholesterol production in your body. When you consume cholesterol from a food like an egg yolk, a healthy liver responds by simply producing less of its own cholesterol, keeping your blood levels relatively stable. The current scientific consensus, reflected in guidelines from organizations like the American Heart Association, is that for most healthy adults, an egg a day can be part of a heart-healthy diet. Eggs are an affordable, high-quality source of protein, vitamins, and, as we've discussed, crucial eye-healthy carotenoids. The conversation has shifted away from a single-minded focus on dietary cholesterol to an emphasis on the overall dietary pattern, one rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats, and low in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats. Of course, there is an important safety note here. If you have been diagnosed with certain conditions like familial hypercholesterolemia, or if your doctor or cardiologist has given you specific instructions to limit dietary cholesterol, you must absolutely follow their guidance. They understand your unique health profile. But for the general population, the fear that once surrounded the humble egg yolk has largely been put to rest. You can feel good about including it in your diet as a powerful tool for protecting your vision. Finally, it is absolutely essential to place this nutritional advice in the proper context. Eating eggs and greens is a powerful, proactive strategy for supporting the long-term health of your eyes and may help slow the progression of certain age-related changes. It is a form of maintenance and protection. However, food is not a replacement for professional medical care. It is a partner to it. You must continue with your regular, comprehensive eye exams with an optometrist or ophthalmologist. These examinations are critical for detecting conditions like glaucoma, cataracts, and macular degeneration, often before you even notice any symptoms. Early detection is paramount for effective treatment and for preserving your sight for as long as possible. Furthermore, if you ever experience sudden, dramatic changes in your vision, do not wait. Certain symptoms are red flags that require immediate medical attention. These include a sudden loss of vision in one or both eyes, seeing flashes of light, a sudden increase in floaters in your field of vision, or seeing straight lines, like a door frame, as wavy or distorted. These can be signs of serious issues like a retinal detachment or the wet form of macular degeneration, and prompt treatment can make all the difference. Think of diet as the long-term investment in the structural integrity of your eyes, and your eye doctor as the essential inspector who ensures everything is functioning properly and can intervene when repairs are needed. The two work hand in hand to give you the best possible chance for a lifetime of healthy vision. The journey to protecting your sight is not about a single grand gesture, but about the small, consistent choices we make every single day. By understanding the simple science behind how your eyes work and what they need to thrive, you are no longer just a passive observer of your health. You become an active participant. Adding a handful of spinach to your omelet or enjoying a hard-boiled egg with your salad are not just small acts of self-care. They are deliberate, powerful investments in your future, in your ability to see the faces of your grandchildren clearly, to read a good book, and to drive safely and with confidence. You have the knowledge now to build and maintain that protective shield within your own eyes. Every small step you take is a victory. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is your favorite way to prepare eggs or leafy greens? Sharing your ideas can inspire others in our community. If you found this information valuable, please consider liking this video and sharing it with a friend who might benefit. By subscribing, you ensure you won't miss our next conversation, where we'll be exploring a simple practice for improving balance and preventing falls. Thank you for taking this time for your health. Be well.